All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2020's first episode of the subproject meeting for mentoring, planning, and initiatives for Kubernetes. My name is Paris, as always. I'm going to copy and paste the agenda inside of the Zoom chat. We are using the same contributor experience agenda just because we haven't really outgrown that yet. Or had a need for it. So please put your name there. My name's here. I'll put George. I'll put Rin. Who else is here? Eeyore. Samuel will draw. Eeyore. Sam. Okay. All right. I've got everybody down. All right. As always, we have a code of conduct. Please be excellent to each other. If you'd like to speak and someone else is speaking, feel free to just raise your hand or say something in chat and we'll come back to you. If there's any new contributors that are on this call right now, meaning you've never been on this call before, or if you've never been on a Kubernetes SIG call before, please feel free to introduce yourself after we do quick stand-ups. This is just like a little heads up that we'll do some introductions later if we would like. So let's get right into it. First things first, as always, we do a quick stand-up about some of our programs that we already have in place or at least have titles and they're work in progress. So this round, we're going to do meet our contributors, outreachy, group mentoring, one-on-one hour, pod mentoring, and then any other discussion. So things like contributor playground, GSOC, etc., that aren't necessarily in motion right now. And then we'll do the open mic discussion and contributor intros at the end. Does anybody have questions about the structure for today? All right. And also, I do see yours cursor live there. If anybody has anything to add to the agenda, it is extremely open right now. Feel free to add anything that you'd like to discuss. Or if you are working a program that I didn't list there that should be listed, please feel free. I may have just had some oversight there. All right. Meet our contributors. We did meet our contributors yesterday, actually. It's usually always a lovely time, I think, for the panelists anyway. I think users have some issues, and I say users as far as watchers, I'm sorry. So watchers of the program, I think, have some issues because sometimes we go out of context and people sometimes get lost and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out ways where the host can either build up the context or something like that. And also I'm trying to figure out how to make this less DIY, whether that's Google buying us equipment or CNCF purchasing us equipment, or whether I personally do it because I need to probably for my own professional career. I don't know. Something needs to happen to where this is a little less DIY and a little bit more professional, because I think we'll reach more and actually have a little bit more quality. For those on the line that don't know what Meet Our Contributors is, it's just a once-a-month program where we answer upstream questions. And I'm also in the middle of doing I have like a draft how-to doc in case things like happen where December I got ill at the last minute and couldn't host at the last minute. So George and many other folks just kind of jumped in and figured stuff out. So that's it for updates as far as Meet Our Contributors is concerned. Any questions, comments, or concerns as far as Meet Our Contributors? The other thing is I wanted to get a doodle out. I know everybody's like, oh, God, and I'm taking some notes now too. Not another doodle. But I just want to make sure that the majority of the contributors that want to take advantage of something like Meet Our Contributors, that we're actually hitting them like at the live moment, because it's really fun when we have more people live with us and not necessarily watching the recording. So I want to throw out a doodle and make sure that we're being like the most inclusive we can be with this time. We did 7:30 a.m. Pacific so that we could just take the hit for it not being, 8 to 5 Pacific, and also to try to capture some and grow some of our European contributors. So more there, TBD. If anybody's interested in helping me lead Meet Our Contributors this year, that would be great. I have a lot of big hopes and dreams for it. So looking forward to 2020. Questions, concerns, comments? All right. Everybody's like, that was boring. Outreachy. We are in the heat of the outreachy semester. We do have one outreachy intern. She is not on the call right now. She is hopefully busy sleeping or something of the sort in a different time zone. And she's working on a couple things. One is the beef and content of developer guide, things like issues that are coming in where people are saying that stuff is not right. So she's been busy doing content there. And she's also been working on some of the contributor site stuff. So she's in the middle of pruning issues to make them more punch card like. So all the research that we did and focus groups and stuff like that. She's also making minimal adjustments to things like the events page. She's not making she's taking the blank page out. And she is tonight giving me a timeline of when she's going to be ready to launch, hopefully within the next week, with just the contributor guide, the events page, and something else that I can't remember off the top of my head that I'll look in the notes. And does anybody have any questions or comments about Outreachy or the work that Visha is doing?
Other than to say she's absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
100%. I don't even know. I was like, yeah. You made this like way too easy. Thank you. Like, where do I send the check?
Yeah. No, I think the best thing that we could all do as a collective product unit is, or project unit rather, is continuously DM and tell her what a wonderful job she's doing, and also keeping focus. I always tell interns or anybody just starting with Kubernetes that the biggest thing is keeping focus, because there's so many things to do around you. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can solve that. I can solve that one too. I can do this. Like, I think Mark UBC are like, I can do all of this.
I've learned to be quiet.
So I think the biggest thing we can do for any outreachy intern or any intern on the project at all, or any newcomer period, no matter what your experience level is making sure that we keep them focused. This was my hardest thing too, onboarding was, I can do that too, and keeping focused, because then we can ship things faster and things. So that's the outreachy, and I think we have her until March, I believe, so we still have quite some time. And I'll also have her come on the next call in February too. So she's going to be embedded in contributor experience and going to come to the meeting on the 15th as well. Do a little intro on the mailing list and things like that as well. And then Rin was at the page I'd helped write last year. Will it be live? How exciting. Yep. So yeah, you helped write a piece to the homepage, and now Visha's busy gluing all the pieces together and potentially even hooking us up with some behaviors with JavaScript. So we've got some things going on. So thank you so much, Rin, for that. That was one of the pieces to that puzzle. So I'm really glad that we'll see that live here shortly.
That's so cool.
And any other outreachy questions? All right. I'm going to skip group mentoring and one-on-one hour until the end for reasons. Pod mentoring at KubeCon, that's coming up. I definitely need folks to help out with that. Actually, let me write that on the notes too, just because it's not clear. Need folks to help out at KubeCon EU. Paris and Tim will run one session. Need someone to run another. Tim Pepper and I have been doing this for quite some time at KubeCon, and we do pod mentoring, meaning we pair 3 people up instead of one-on-one for multiple reasons. And so we need someone else to help us run the other session. The other thing I need to do is I have a ton of instructions and communications and all kinds of things from the previous sessions that I want to collate into a doc, like a how-to doc, and submit that into the repo as well. So that, again, if I am sick during that KubeCon, y'all can just come on in and figure it out. Does anybody want or have any cycles or is interested in and helping out at KubeCon Amsterdam with that session? I can obviously explain things to you and go over like the how-tos. Anybody interested? And I'm not also putting people on the spot. I only know there's a couple people on this call. So I'll also do a mailing list call as well. So if anybody decides that they have any extra cycles for Amsterdam and wants to help out, just let me know, okay?
I can pod mentor again, I think, maybe. Probably.
What's wrong?
I can probably pod mentor again.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll put you down as a probably then, okay? Okay, put you down as possibly written. All right. That's it for regular stand-up. Does anybody have anything that they want to stand up on? Meaning things that you're working on currently that you want to give an update for, ask for help, etc.
I have one thing, but it's in regard to mentoring, so I'll wait to save it at the end when we talk about that.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, cool. All right, so it looks like Eeyore put some things down about GSOC and Community Bridge. So Eeyore, why don't you take it from here?
Just a few quick updates. So Google Summer of Code, the official 2020 round will start next week on Monday. So CNCF will apply, and we'll also put the wheels with all the CNCF projects, obviously with Kubernetes as well. And we also had another pilot round. We've started another pilot round with Community Bridge in December. And we currently have 2 students, 2 mentees from Kubernetes. One of them is a person who could be an Outreach student, but she went to the Community Bridge program. So we are making also the Community Bridge as an alternative for those folks who were not accepted to Google Summer of Code or to Outreach for some reason. If you're curious, we have 9 mentees total for all CNCF project this time around, so moving forward with this. Any questions regarding these 2 programs?
Thank you for working out the outreachy intern situation. I appreciate that.
No problem, always welcome. And the same we can do with Google Summer of Code this summer. If some of the students who will not be accepted to Google Summer of Code, we are happy to accept them to Community Bridge. And
then, Eeyore, who's running the communications on the GSOC stuff? And do you need help, etc.? Like, meaning, like getting the word out to KDev that GSOC's about to start, and maybe folks should start thinking about it. Like, should we ask for help there, or are you going to take point, or is Nikita going to take point? What's up with that?
I can do it. So I'm making the communication CNCF wide. And I'm also going to make an announcement to the maintainers of the CNCF projects, but I'm happy to do it to Kubernetes dev as well. So,
yeah, I would. Please do me a favor. You don't have to write anything from scratch. If you could just like hit the
well, I have the email.
Yeah.
So I'll write an email for the project maintainers, which will work for Kubernetes, sub-project maintainers, SIG leads, and all those folks as well. So no worries.
Yeah, I would definitely send a general KDev email too, because I know a lot of people that are not chairs read that and then ask the chairs what's up with whatever they're doing. So, okay, cool. So I've got you down for owning comms there. And then do you foresee any other help, or do you want to solicit any other help for any other thing?
Not yet, but okay. I'm staying in touch.
Okay, cool. All right. And then does anybody on the line have any other questions for Eeyore as far as Google Summer of Code or the Community Bridge program is concerned? All right. So that wraps stand up. Thanks everyone for all the work there. Next step, if there's any new contributors on the line that halted a introduction until now, now is a good time. Would anybody like to give an intro?
Hi, this is Vamshi Samudrala. This is the
Hey.
first time. Hi, this is the first time I'm joining this contributor meetings, and I have some calls, one-on calls with Chris, George, and started contributing to some of the Relay CA signal and other things. But I would be happy to be part of this contributor group and try to help as much as I can. And on the daily basis, I work for American Airlines.
Oh,
Located in
very
Central Time.
cool. Very cool. Well, welcome. I'd love to have you. So just like a little high level overview, this is like mentor planning stuff. And we are trying to plan modern mentoring programs here, meaning not necessarily like the typical one-on-one, like fill out a form, get matched with someone kind of programs. We have one that's in the middle of like a work in progress state that's kind of similar to that, which is called the one-on-one hour, which you may see in the stand-up. That's very work in progress. And the reason why is it's actually a lot more workflow and automation involved than a typical one-on-one program, because one-on-one programs have a lot of administrivia overhead. So like like, hey, Rin, can you talk to me at this time? Oh, no, 2 days later, Rin, I can't, I'm busy, like that kind of back and forth. So like the idea was to try to do something a little bit more automated, maybe with Doodle inside of a GitHub workflow. So you can find, if you're interested in like automation and things like that, inside of, there's group mentoring and one-on-one hour, all kinds of like issues and things like that inside of the community repo. If that calls to you, that's awesome. I've been telling a bunch of my engineering friends that too, because as soon as they hear mentoring program, I think people are just like, that sounds like humans and like a lot of program stuff. But honestly, some of the stuff I really want to make a little bit more automated, like, and then like obviously worry about the human stuff. So it's like, this is like the modern approach, right? So if any of that sounds cool, please check out the community repo and add it, like, come on in wherever you see fit. Cool. Thanks.
Sure, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool that that automation is helping on that in that perspective too. So yeah, I would like to check out that rep and try to pitch in what I can.
Yeah, and like owners files and like workflows there and stuff like that. Like that's always needed and helpful. So again, welcome. Thanks for joining. And Marky, why don't you take it away from here with some of the stuff you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, tomorrow I am meeting with a handful of people to go over setting up the mentoring automation. What we really want to do is try to address what are the tasks we're trying to accomplish and how we could not only identify each task for automation, but also how do we get this into the other SIGs for use. So there
Don't
was a
worry
meeting
about that. Don't worry. Get the prototype together, and then
right.
we'll tackle the buy-in and stuff like that. Get it. So that should be like, I think your end goal should be pruning issues that are like more punch card and more of like the automation stuff. And then the second thing would be like do a quick prototype, and then we can sell it to some of the SIGs.
Okay.
So
I will.
A ton. If you all need anything, seriously, call me, number one. But two, we've done so much like research, focus groups, try before you buys with this. So if you literally like, I tried my hardest to put all that stuff in the issues. And I really think that the hardest piece is that like arranging the time for all of this stuff. I know that sounds silly, but like I have lost people in that process. Like I've noticed, like, I even think Rin has gotten like, I keep looking at Rin just because like their face is right next to mine on Zoom. But like, Rin has even like gotten frustrated with me trying to like, come up with a time to talk sometimes, so it's like, I feel that. And then like in our environment with 30,000 people, it's like that just gets even harder when people sign up for these like mentoring programs to do one-on-one. So like if we can figure out how to like get that done, I think we've got a huge leg up with just like some of that administrative stuff and like hooking people up. And like we had a lot of really good ideas with like using CI and like using labels and stuff like that on how to do that. So anyway, I don't want to take up the whole, like we could literally do an hour on that. So that's awesome. I'm so stoked. Is this like SysDig folks or what?
No, this is actually two from SysDig. The remaining are all from the community that I was just like, I tried to get enough people. So I was like, hey, do you want to do this? And then we were doing okay, what time do you have? And this, and finally I got everybody on board with tomorrow.
So there, you could even see it yourself, how hard it was getting people together on a time. So that's why I'm like, and then imagine the entire premise of mentoring is like hooking people up to do a thing. So that's why it's like the whole entire premise is built on people being helpful and like linking up at a certain time, right? So
yeah.
That is literally the hardest piece there. So we played around with the idea of like having private repos where people file issues when they want to talk to people. Like there all kinds of stuff flew around. And Rin, I think it would be really helpful to have you into some of those conversations, not necessarily doing anything, but one of the things that, as we were throwing around suggestions for like, especially like, I don't know, group mentoring or like the one-on-one hour was the inclusivity of it. Because I understand like when people ask for help that might either be embarrassing or something along those lines. So I thought that's what we thought about, maybe doing a private repo and like filing issues against a private repo so then people can't see your stuff. But then people were saying that seems exclusive. So like trying to figure out a balance there too. So maybe after Marky and folks prototype something, me and you can kind of come in and say like do some maybe like trade-offs and analysis there. Cool.
All right. And Rin, if you would like to be involved in the call tomorrow, you are more than welcome. If you want, just DM me your email and I'll forward you the invite.
Nice, awesome.
And Maki, if you don't mind, if you can just forward me, this Vamshi Samudrala. I would like to join in the automation.
I think I already forwarded to you, but just in the event that I didn't, can you just DM me your email address? And my Slack is Marky Jackson, all one word, all lowercase.
Yep, on it. Thanks.
And Marky, thanks for lazy linking that mentoring board as well. So folks on the line, if you want to like see what's going on, we clearly have everything in process, tons of stuff in the backlog. And I'm pretty sure there's even issues on the board right now that are mentoring that aren't on this board right now. So if anybody wants to pick up any of this stuff, you're more than welcome. I'm pretty sure there's nothing blocked by me at this point, with the exception of some of those how-tos. And I'll even just get some bare bones how-tos in there so that we can get other people PRing on them and getting them out of like a work in progress state. But we've got a huge 2020 ahead of us. I would really like to, at the end by, let's see, if I'm being a visionary, Boston. Oh, I can't believe it's Boston too. It's so cold, y'all. Boston in like November or something for KubeCon. It would be really cool if like we could all present on stuff that we've done from, a mentoring standpoint with Kubernetes, especially when it comes to modern mentoring, inclusive mentoring, and like scalable mentoring, meaning like we're not relying on each other to do like one-on-one mentoring for 30,000 people, and even things like automation, like of like the people elements in the workflows, because that's really cool. And I know a lot of other projects, especially Node.js and some other projects, are looking at us as kind of the change maker here. So any other discussion points? If not, you have 20 minutes of your life back.
I will say that on that project board, if anybody does go in there and see something that they'd like to work on or shadow on, or just get any information, I will make myself available, and you can accommodate any schedule, whether it's early in the morning, late at night. We can jump on a Zoom, whatever works. I want to try to help as many people as I can. So please, even if you don't think you know what's going on, trust me, I don't either. So we can not know together and then maybe get a little bit more knowledge together.
All right, that's awesome. And same goes with me and anybody else on this line, I'm sure. All right, last call. All right, 20 minutes of your life back. Thanks so much, everyone. I'm so looking forward to 2020 with you all. We've got a lot to do, and let's keep rocking.
And a small note from my side, and thanks a lot. You guys are really awesome. I saw you guys personally at the KubeCon this year, but it's been wonderful opportunity that you guys are providing us to giving it to the community back. And thanks a lot for making part of this.
Thank you for showing up. That's the first step. Appreciate it. Same goes with everybody on the line. Thanks a ton for being interested in this and wanting to see the community grow. All right, see you soon. I think next month, same time, same place. And then don't forget, this Wednesday, we do have a full contributor experience meeting. You don't need to show unless you want to. That's why the purpose of these sub-project meetings are happening. So if you're in a sub-project and only want to hang out there and don't want to like do all of our meetings, then you don't have to. Either myself or Marky or Rin or somebody can represent us in the contributor experience meetings when they ask for updates. Cool. All right.
Sounds good.
See y'all soon.
See everybody
See you
online.
soon, everybody.
Thank you. See
Have a good
everybody.
one.
Thanks.